A very good evening, a very warm welcome. Thank you for joining us on Two Full Tossers. Show this evening brought to you by the Richie Ryle Museum of Cricket Art, which holds over 82,000 pieces of cricketers in various stages of being awarded paintings. They're actually mostly paintings of people receiving paintings of things that they have done, which necessitated the commissioning of a painting. And we're very happy to have Richie's blessing for this particular evening, and even more happier to have Mr. Alan Committie in sparkling form and back on Two Full Tossers. Good evening, Alan.
Sir, what a delight, what a pleasure to see your beautiful face. I know you've had a busy day and that you've managed to make it in time for this 9 o'clock appointment. I'm thrilled and delighted. And episode 19, can you believe it? 19, is it, or 18, or between 18.3? We don't know. The point is we're here. We haven't been told to leave. So something's going right, or reasonably right.
Well, I did some calculations on the Duckworth-Lewis method. This is our 812th episode so far, and yet we've still lost in the second last over to Malawi in the World Cup final based on a system nobody will ever know. I want to talk to you about some really interesting cricket in just a moment, but before we do, there are two main reasons people log on to this show. One of them is our very special guest, and today we have an extraordinarily special guest. He might be the most exciting young fast bowler we have had in world cricket since probably Lungi and Gidi, and that was weeks ago. So I'm very excited. But the other reason people log on, because they're extra excited, is to find out who Alan's lost legend will be. Now, we only announced this a little later on in the show, but you very generously give us a clue. So throw up that picture, if you will, and let's see who your lost legend is.
Now, there he is. He's not a South African, but he did play in South Africa. And I delighted in his performances in the late 80s, early 90s. Do you know who he is? There he is behind a stack of microphones. If you do, take your chubby little fingers and type in something into the chat box. This is a slightly trickier one, but a fantastic bowler. And this, of course, reflects kindly on our guest this evening. I'm very excited to chat to him as well. So let's find out in a couple of moments who that lost legend is. Do you know who it is, Dan?
He has a suspiciously similar looking lack of neck, but I'm not sure if that is the right person or not. Right. But I will find out from you a little later on in the show. I have to say I'm very happy because we have this wonderful, almost fraternal relationship where your welfare is so close to my heart and vice versa, and you're looking a little less distressed at the fact that it is now 4 weeks since you have been able to not watch the IPL.
That's right. And well, having said that, I'm just starting to feel kind of calm and quite pleased about not having to watch, not watching. So that's a 7 triple negative, which means it's a positive, not watching the IPL. And now they've, of course, talking about bringing it back in November or October or in September through December, or even not at all this year. So the plans are afoot. It apparently even talks that our tour to India might be in jeopardy if they bring the IPL back. Let's hope that that they can both live in a similar time period, but that we can have both, or just us and not the IPL. Either which way, I'm thrilled that I haven't had to watch any of it this last week.
Now, it's only a matter of time before we get a call from Ravi Shastri to request of us some guidance, some counsel as the sages of the world of cricket that we are. What do we do to sort out this not IPL situation? Well, I've got a couple of ideas, and I'd appreciate you bouncing back some of your experience, Alan. One of them is perhaps they were talking about possibly moving one of the England-India Test series. We could play 3 or 4 of those IPL games during the lunch break during the 4th test.
Wow, we're talking.
Possibly not. Or maybe the KFC mini cricket bakers, as it was in years gone by, we could maybe take something from them, and while a test match is playing and somebody's playing out 17 overs of not really scoring, we maybe have a couple of IPL games just happening in the outfield, running between wickets and working there. I think one of those two could definitely work.
Well, and then there's also lots of time because captains now take longer and longer to set fields and to start an over. So in between overs, we could probably get at least one game out. So that could possibly happen. If umpire Maria Erasmus is officiating, it's quite a long walk and I say that with respect and love, from square leg to the wicket. You could probably get half an innings in there.
And possibly see Mahendra Singh Dhoni play in both games at the same time, even though he's retired from Test cricket, and yet somehow come back. Such is the opportunity that now presents itself to us, of which I'm very excited, and gives you an opportunity to simultaneously watch a Test match and not watch IPL while watching the Test match.
Can we now, while we're talking about resignations and or retirements, apparently AB de Villiers has officially retired, pre-retirement, but post-resting before he's now stopped playing, but he is still available.
Yes, I think he comes out of retirement just after lunch next Wednesday. It's quite a long lunch, and then he goes back into retirement before afternoon tea, and then comes out of semi-retirement for talks about retirement before properly retiring the next morning, and then leaving it open to interpretation, which I think is as it should be.
And he said, he was very clear, he said he had discussions with Mark Boucher. He just didn't realize there were other team members, and he had forgotten about that, and so he felt that he couldn't play because there were other team members. So really getting to grips with some of the niceties of cricket. What a thrill, what a delight. And
is it time, Alan Committie, and I ask you this with a philosophical intent, is it time now for AB de Villiers to declare himself a nation state and then enter the T20 on his own and play against the rest of the world just on his own, perhaps bowling and stumping off his own bowling, and then coming in and running from both ends and possibly single-handedly winning the T20 as the state of de Villiers Abraham?
Listen, it would be unfair on every other cricket-playing nation, but perhaps it is time. It is time. He'd still have to go through the Maldives to quarantine, but I think it presents wonderful opportunities. I asked for it. I say, let's do it. Let's push for it.
And if we need to go and quarantine with him in the Maldives, then we will find a decent reason to do that. A question that came up in the immediate, I think it was Neil Manthorpe raising one of his excellent columns. Should we be picking people like Simon Harmer, Kyle Abbott? I think Wayne Parnell was mentioned in that column. Guys who've drifted off into the world of Kolpak, but are now possibly looking to drift back. Do we turn our backs on them and never speak to them ever again, remove them from Facebook, ignore their pleading tweets, and refuse to like their TikTok posts? Or do we say, welcome back, there is an AB-sized shape hole, and you 17 players could almost fill it?
I say we bring them back, but we don't speak to them. We have a bit of both. You allow them to play, but they can't be in the dressing room. They've got to, from the car, they've got to dress in the car, pad up, go onto the field, do the things, have their separate lunch. So we get the best of all worlds, and everyone's happy. Or not happy. Everyone's unequally happy. Or equally unhappy.
Well, it's disappointment all around, which always makes us happy. We've got a really special guest tonight. I'm properly excited to welcome him on, which we'll do in just a moment. But let's have a look. This is one of the big moments of the cricket world in digital television broadcasting every week. It's hours of painstaking research by Alan and his team, by which we mean Alan. And it allows us to introduce for yet another week, Alan's Lost Legend.
So there he is. I don't know if you guessed who it is. He is.
He looked a bit Gladstone Smallish.
Well, now that's interesting. He is a bit Gladstone Smallish, but in fact, he's from the West Indies. Played for Barbados for many years. Is the half brother of Sylvester Clarke, and this is Rod Estwick, who played for Transvaal 1987 through 1990. In fact, in 1988, there he is. Arm over Rod Estwick. This is an interesting one. 1988, he was the South African annual cricketer of the year. 36 wickets at 16.4. I remember watching him, particularly in the B&H, Benson and Hedges and day-night games. Superb, off a short runner, basically 3 or 4 steps, huge broad shoulders, smashed the ball into the pitch at 140, high 140s, and very dangerous, superb bowler. He's no Lee Barnard, but he's this week's lost legend. A shout out to Rod Estwick, who's doing some coaching now for some of the younger West Indian sides. Exciting.
The Marshan de Lange of his day. 3-pace run up and boom.
Boom.
And away. Boom. Boom.
There
we go.
Yes.
Right, I'm getting up and excited, and that's because our guest today. Now, if I were to say to you, give me just forget about that. Just give me the surname. A South African fast bowler who speaks of aggression. He speaks of pace. He speaks of a willingness to bowl 15 overs uphill into the wind while it's raining if he needs to, and then still run round the field afterwards. What name comes to mind?
Gerbrand Grobler.
Ah, yes. Well, if you translate that out of the original Afrikaans, the man you're immediately thinking of is Ntini. But we've not gone Makhaya. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh,
we've gone one better than Makhaya Ntini, because this guy is younger, he's more athletic, he's better looking, he's faster, he's more fearsome, and most importantly, he was available to join us on short notice this evening. So please welcome our guest tonight. It is Thando Ntini.
hey.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Mr. Ntini, warm welcome. Good evening. Lovely to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you in about 3 hours.
Yeah, it's been a while, eh? It's been a while.
We know each other, but this is very exciting for Alan, who's a huge fan of Ntini's as a whole, but
Correct.
very excited about watching you. Do you remember, Alan Committie, the first time you saw Thando Ntini? I think he turned 14 last week, so he would have been about 7 when he started playing first-class cricket, because he's this child prodigy. Do you remember the first time you either saw or heard the name Thando Ntini, Alan Committie?
Well, that's right. No, the buzz was thick, wasn't it? Once you started playing provincial cricket, everyone started saying this is a name to watch out for. And for a while, I know you'd played a number of games before I finally got to see you on television. But when I did, that thin, wiry frame, at one point I thought it was a wicket, but it was in fact you moving towards the wicket. Smooth, delightful action, all the attributes of your dad. And as Dan has said, but a younger model, which has to help a little bit. What's it been like, sir? Your first couple of years in the big leagues?
It's been fun. I can say the least. It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been challenging, but I'm enjoying it. There are lots of learnings taking place, and it's obviously it's a blessing to be part of a few of the big guys playing in these big leagues.
I suspect that you're a fabulous fast bowler. You've shown that already. But I suspect that your future actually lies as a batsman, because I don't think there will be any batsman ever who will be so immune to chirping as you will be from having to block out the sound of your dad over the last 2 decades, who has to be the noisiest cricketer in history.
I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
What is it? Because we'll get into the fast bowling in a moment, but most of the fast bowlers, I think of somebody like Morné Morkel. Morné insists to me that he should have had 100 tests batting for South Africa at number 3. Nobody else would ever agree, but he's adamant that this is the case. And most fast bowlers believe that hidden inside there is this Jacques Kallis just waiting to get out. How much fun do you have batting? What's it like when you get to the crease and get a chance to wield that willow?
I enjoy it. I just feel it's time where you can be yourself. Just try and build an innings and have fun out there. Also be deep within the challenge that's coming at you the whole time. It's also a lovely opportunity to test yourself if you can stay switched on for as long as possible. But yeah, it's absolute fun.
Do you ever hold yourself back from bowling a 175-kilometre-hour bouncer at another fast bowler in case he does the same to you later?
It's cricket. You have to do what you got to do, because eventually it's going to come your way. So you have to give it back when you have to. So it's always a nice rivalry against all the seamers around the country. See who can outdo in the middle. So it's always good fun. It's a lovely challenge. It hurts sometimes, but I love it. I enjoy it.
What was the relationship like growing up? Obviously, your dad would have been an immediate role model, and you would have witnessed all his incredible feats. Was bowling your first love? Did you come into cricket maybe preferring batting? Was cricket something that you wanted to do initially? Give us a bit of a background.
I only started bowling end of 2016, so I've only been bowling for a short while.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
That is
opening
so
batsman.
annoying. I
I was an
started bowling
opening
at
batsman.
4.
I was an opening batsman for my school, Selborne College, before I moved to Cape Town. For all my provincial teams till under 17. And then when I moved to Cape Town, I had to adapt and conquer and just see what else can get me into the big leagues. So I haven't been bowling for too long, to be honest. So I enjoy my batting, and the various teams I've been part of, we've been working on getting me to be that genuine all-rounder in the next 2-3 years.
That's outstanding. That's great news. You're a left-handed bat, aren't you, sir?
Yes, sir. Left-hand bat, right arm fast.
Fast.
And ambidextrous fielder.
I wish I was.
Yeah, you've followed in your father's footsteps. Not all kids do. Alan could have inherited the family plumbing business in Makhaya, which he didn't. I could have followed in my father's footsteps, but I don't think that needs any further elaboration. You have gone into cricket. Was it always the case, or did you at some point think, maybe I'll just become a film star or a model or something that's a lot easier?
I actually did everything at school, especially primary school. Played all the sports: rugby, soccer, tennis, swimming, hockey, squash, everything, cricket. And then as I kind of went through the age groups, I started cutting down on sports. So by the time I got to high school, grade 8, I was playing rugby, cricket, and hockey. And then by the time I got to grade 10, I was playing cricket only. So I gave myself a fair chance in all of them. But I really enjoyed cricket the most, and it was the most natural to me. So it was just a walk in the park, I guess.
Cool. This is not good news if you're a batsman having to play against Thando Ntini. You've only been bowling for 5 years. You're already a first-class star, just signed for the Dolphins. One would suggest, rather nervously for the batting world, Alan, he's only likely to get better.
Yes, sir. And we look forward to that, I'm sure, as well. What happens? Do you get the occasional phone call from Dad saying, saw you on TV and maybe you should be doing this and that? And can you take advice?
Not really, if he's not there commentating for majority of my games.
Right.
So we do have that father and son communication, but half the time we don't really chat cricket. But if there is something that needs working on, then he's always there to assist. So it's an advantage to have against everyone, where you don't have to look for advice or help. We actually have someone at home that's gone through the journey at all stages of the game, to actually guide you and give you the advice you need. So it definitely does help when making cricket decisions and choices, to have him next to me to advise and show me the way. So it's lovely to have that.
Have you sometimes explained to him what happens quite close to the wicket? If when you're bowling in your delivery stride, you actually come in next to the wicket as opposed to 3 meters wide of it. Have you?
I think we're kind of similar in terms of how wide we come on the crease.
Really?
I haven't been comfortable enough to be so close to the wicket, because me and my dad would do the same. We do the same thing. We shape the ball back, so that extra room does really help. So he's helped me quite a bit with that and being able to master that skill. But also, it's not bad in actually listening to the coaches and having both skills where you can bowl from both wide and closer to the stumps, which does add a bit to your armory. So it's really good to have two sides of the story. You can have someone to help you out when you're at home and when you're training. So killing two birds with one stone, huh?
But I think I spotted you at a shopping mall in Pretoria last week, looking for a surf shop. Not the best place to be looking for a surf shop, but there's a reason for it, because it's board shorts at the ready and touchdown next week in Durban for your new career as a Hebrew surfer with the Dolphins.
Yes, sir. First thing, off to the beach.
Hey.
That's it. That's exciting. It's a new chapter, and I'm guessing, and I know because we've had this conversation before. It's just a chance to play some more cricket, get into those headlights, and make sure that the march on towards Team South Africa just happens a little quicker.
Yeah, most definitely. It is a big opportunity to be in the starting lineup a lot more than I was at the Titans. Obviously, it's one of the better teams to be part of. The Dolphins have done extremely well in the past few years, and also noticed that they are a extremely young squad. You know, where at the Titans, it's a bit tougher for a young player to break through with so many Protea players. But it's also a really nice place to be at to learn and grow and try and enhance your cricket. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay because I felt I need to capitalize on these next few years where I'm young, I'm fresh. I have the drive, to get me to where I want to be and continue from that. So I felt Dolphins were my best bet. And obviously, I'm a coastal boy, being born and raised in East London, so I'm very familiar to the conditions, and I also really enjoy the beach.
They are also,
oh, sorry, yes, Alan.
I was just going to say they're also the best bet Dolphins, so that makes them the best bet, literally. I mean,
the best bet.
Hollywood bets will love you for that, Alan Committie. Alan Committie, as you may or may not know, Thando, went to Westerford, which is a small school for basically those in need of criminal reform. Gary van Lochrenberg, who's watching the show, says, what was it like taking on Westerford High at school level?
We never did.
I don't think they did.
No.
No.
They weren't, not to be arrogant or anything, but our school side was really good. So we didn't even play Westerford on weekends or anything.
Okay.
You just lost a friend here. You just lost.
Unfortunately, it wasn't our choice to who we play. But in my whole Wynberg stint, we've never played Westerford. I think our seconds and thirds played them, if they're lucky.
Okay, well, let me before a fight breaks out here and digital punches get thrown. Just yes or no. 3 quick questions for you. Have you ever taken a wicket against Westerford? Yes or no, Thando?
No, never played.
Have you ever scored a run against Westerford? Yes or no?
No.
Have you ever beaten Westerford? Yes or no?
No.
No, so there we go. So I think Alan Committie, you win. He's never scored a run against you, never taken a wicket, never beaten you. I think you could be happy there. Take a deep breath. Thando, just nod. He gets very upset about Westerford. Let's just let him calm down. Take a deep breath. Go back and look at your picture of Buddha Dipanar and just calm down, Alan Committie.
Well, it's not a fair shot that we didn't even set foot against them. We didn't set foot in the field.
We're breaking up. All right, look, let me let you calm down because if I'm not mistaken, Alan Committie, have you got a special guest who's coming along to join us? All right, well, Alan Committie goes and calms down and stops himself from unfriending Thando on Facebook. We've got a very quick quiz for you. Are you ready for this quiz, Mr. Ntini Jr.?
100%.
So I can tell you that the best of them, how have we done so far? JP Dermody got 1 out of 5. Darren Goff and Ashwell Prince got 4 out of 5. So that's kind of your bottom and your top. So anywhere in between, and you will be doing okay. Are we good to go?
Crossing fingers, yep.
All right. Let's start off. Question number 1 as a leading fast bowler. These all should be nice and easy for you. Which famous, as he quickly checks Google, that's not allowed. Which famous West Indian fast bowler, who is best known for his skiddy deliveries and a vicious bouncer, played no small amount of cricket for Natal?
Ooh. The time frame? Is it before my time or like in the 2000s?
He's over the age of 7, so before your time.
Played for Natal. Pass. I don't know.
The answer would be the great Malcolm Marshall.
Ooh, that's my dad's guy.
Indeed. Not dissimilar. Also, both very, very awkward characters to deal with. Right. Second question. Which Pakistani fast bowler is credited as having bowled the fastest delivery of all time?
I know this guy. Now the name's run away from me. It is Pakistan.
Dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum. That
His
flowing
name has escaped me, and he has the messiest action ever.
He does indeed. He's got about a 7-kilometer run up.
Yes. The name has escaped my head.
3,
2, 1.
2, 1.
I lost a point there. If you know the name.
Shoaib
Shoaib
Akhtar.
Akhtar. Oh my
Shoaib
God.
Akhtar.
Yes.
All right, let's 0 from 2. So this is an appalling start. If you'd gone to Westerford, you would have been much better at getting these. Question number 3. Let's go one that's a little easier. Fast bowling records. The fast bowler who's taken the most wickets ever for England is James Anderson. Which fellow fast bowler of his sits second on that list for England for most Test wickets? Stuart Broad is correct. Well done. Having a Westerford moment. Congratulations. All right, so that is 1 out of 3. Let's head just north of the border. Here's your next question for you. I would like to know, who is the only Zimbabwean fast bowler who's been in the news recently for the wrong reasons to have taken over 200 Test wickets?
Oh, not only.
He's coached in the IPL. He's coached in Bangladesh. He's been in the papers in the last few weeks for the wrong country.
I'm not a fan of reading the paper, to be honest.
I don't know if he's got a TikTok account, so that can't help.
Zimbabwean. IPL. He's coached the IPL team.
He has. He's coached in the IPL.
Coached in the IPL. I do not know, sir.
The answer there would be Heath Streak. Heath Streak.
Match fixing. My dad told me about this a while ago. Jeez. Need to pay attention more.
All right, you've got one last question. Let's see if you can finish off on a high. Which South African all-rounder is currently lighting up the county championship for Northamptonshire?
Northams. South African all-rounder. Who plays for Northants? No,
1 out of 4. Can you beat JP Dermody?
Can't be Wayne Parnell. Surely not. Northants. I'm going Wayne Parnell, I think.
Wayne Parnell is correct. That is the right answer. So well done, Thando Ntini. That is 2 out of 5. Which is not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. So next time you bump into JP Dermody, tell him you beat him on the 2 full tossers cricket quiz.
Sweet, I'll take that. At least I'm not the last one.
All right. Before we wrap things up, and it's been an absolute delight having you on the show. You're still only 20 years old. You're very early on in your cricket career. So this might be a little bit overwhelming. I'll need you to take a deep breath. He is one of the biggest names in South African cricket from an administrative perspective, known not just for his knowledge and understanding of the game, but for his somewhat unique interviewing technique. I shall hand you over to him. Be brave, please. An enormous amount of pleasure to welcome back to 2 full tossers the honorary Vice Life President of the Griqualand North Scorers and Umpires Association. It is Meneer Johan van der Walt.
Mooi, baie dankie. Thank you so much from you, Daniel. And welkom hierso. Lekker om saam met klein seun Ntini te praat. Nice to talk with small lad Ntini. Welcome to the show, meneer. Nice to see you. So tell me, all right, there's no need to laugh, okay? Because I don't laugh when I look for you. There's no need for you to laugh when you look for me. Please, let's just be respectful for one another. That's all I ask. Eh? Baie dankie. Yes, you're very thin, eh? Look at you. So ma, you see for yourself. Look, so beautiful. Okay. As a young'un, it's so nice to be able to meet a person who's got all the my teeth sometimes. I don't know if you have that sometimes with your teeth when it wants to come. is to have all the energy, you know. And for me, I want to know what's it like for a young man now to walk into a provincial side with all the old toppies, all the old uncles who've been playing for years. Is it an easy entry point, or is there some collaboration that must happen?
It is a tough gig, to be honest. Because now you have to try and find your feet in the team. Also, at the same time, you try and be as expressive as possible, but at the same time, trying to be as respectful as possible. So it is a tough one. But if you just be yourself, it becomes a lot easier. So
Right.
I wouldn't say it's the easiest, but you get used to it.
I'm sure you do. Did you ever, besides your puppy, did you ever a bowler that were a hero of yours? Who did you look up for? Maybe for South Africa or from over the seas? Who for you did make you go, whoa, I want to be like that football?
James Anderson.
Yo, that was nie 'n antwoord. I didn't expect from that. That is interesting. And he's about 117 years old. You can play for another 60 or 70 years and still not be at his age. That's incredible. All right, listen for me. I know this is going to be tricky because as a Wynberg boy, now we're going to ask some questions now. Ons gaan 'n bietjie vragies vra. It's like an exam, okay? You wouldn't have done these at your school because they do that education there yet. But I'm going to ask quick ones. Now, you just choose one or the other. Don't think at all, okay? So that'll be easy for a Wynberg boy. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. For you, an in-swinger or an out-swinger? For you.
In-swinger.
In-swinger. For you, a Yorker or a bouncer?
Yorker.
Mooi. Get a batsman LBW or Nicholl?
Nicholl.
Oh, nice. For you, who's better, Geoffrey Archer or Kagiso Rabada?
KG.
That is a good answer and well done because that could have been awkward in any dressing room. All right. Who has a louder mouth, Eddie Murphy or Makhaya Ntini?
My dad.
That's absolutely correct. Even Eddie Murphy has written in and he agreed with that. For you, is it a silly point or short leg if you had to field it?
Silly point.
Bowling against Kohli or bowling against RB de Villiers?
Virat Kohli.
Ooh, I like it. You're saying it's easier to bowl to Kohli than it is to de Villiers?
Bowl to de Villiers. So I want experience bowling to Kohli.
Okay. Mooi. If you had to add one thing, more pace or more swing?
More pace.
More pace. All right, here's your tricky questions. Are you ready? You can play in a test match side for South Africa for 5 years, or you can play only 2 games, but in a World Cup winning side for South Africa.
Test for 5 years.
Good answer. And then the most important vraagie vir jou vandag. Are you gereed? As jy gereed, hierso gaan ons nou.
Yes,
For you, scoring 220 as a batsman, coming in at number 8, or your dad scores that 1 run in the 4-3-8 game. You can't have both. You can have one or the other.
The 1 run.
Mooi! Dis 'n goeie antwoord. Now I don't even see you as a Wynberg boy anymore. I see you as something more special. This has been a great, beautiful honoration. I wish you only the best, young man. You are our future. I believe children are our future. You teach them well, you let them lead the way. Show them, I don't know what the other lyrics are, but it's beautiful. All the best for you. And in the meantime, I'm going to go sort my teeth out, want hulle wil uitkom en dis nie goed nie. Tot weer sins, nee. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bye-bye, dankie, nee.
Cheers.
Bye. Eina.
There you go, Thando. A rather special interaction for your Monday night.
It was indeed.
Cricketing career. While we wait, I'm not sure where Alan's got to, but while we wait for him to return, so you touch down Durban next week, and in between riding the waves and enjoying being back at the coast, do you have kind of a next 18 months, couple of years plan, what you'd like to do, what you'd like to be, how the Thando Ntini story is going to play out?
I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I do have those personal goals that I want to achieve in the next 24 months. So I wouldn't want to put them out there. So I'd rather keep those to myself and just surprise you guys as time goes on.
I'm not sure you're going to surprise us too much, to be honest, because there's clearly a lot of talent there. But we will watch and we will await. Have you been converted? I don't know if you managed to catch while you were away, Alan. Thando got to chat to Dominique van der Walt, and I think he redeemed himself from his earlier issues of the Weinberg Westerford.
This is a young man who knows when to be respectful, when to push the boundaries. I thought he treated Van der Walt, who, let's be honest, is a tricky character at the best of times. You treated him particularly well. And for me, now I feel like we're friends again. I'll be watching all your TikTok videos. I will. Honestly, I'm a convert.
All right. Well, that leaves us simply to say, Thando, thank you so much. Good luck with the move down to Durban, and enjoy down at the coast. And we look forward to seeing that first South African jersey on the shoulders, the Ntini legacy continuing, and the great deal of fun as you bit by bit start picking off your father's records, and then just phone him to remind him what's just happened.
Perfect. We'll do so. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thando Ntini, there we go. Look, he's a fabulous cricketer, but he's also just a great young man, isn't he?
Absolutely. And it is what I'm liking about the show is we've seen, we've gone from the veterans and all the way through to the other end of the spectrum. There is lots to be excited about in our country's future. And I think he's going to be one of the shining stars, isn't he?
He is indeed. So there we go. Thando Ntini. He's just said goodbye to the Titans. He joins up with the Dolphins. I want to say Sharks for a second. He's down in Durban as of next week, and only 20 years of age. There is a lot of this story to come. Next week, Alan Committie, I'm not saying we will have Kevin Peterson on the show, but I'm not saying we won't have Kevin Peterson on the show. I'd just like to leave it out there for people to decide and make up their own minds, if that's all right.
I think that's a perfectly acceptable thing. I assume that we are and not always. Right. And that's probably the best thing about what I said. I didn't have an end to that sentence, if I'm honest. Just thinking about KP made me think, no, stuff it. There's not even an end to that sentence.
All right. Well, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Enjoy not watching another week of IPL, and join us again next Monday night for Two Full Tosses, brought to you this evening by the Richie Ryle Museum of Cricket Art. Good night.